Hey my future saints, I'm Ellie, and welcome back to One World Saints, where we learn about our faith while discovering new flavors. So I'm glad to be back. I feel like I haven't done a video. I mean, if you've seen the past maybe 2 or 3, I'm not mistaken, Julie, my co-host, was doing them alone with her siblings, which is really, really fun, which I hope you guys watch. You can go check them out if you haven't seen them. Really, really cute, really awesome. But I kind of miss, being, I guess, by myself, if that makes sense. But I'm happy to do another video. I'm very excited. Just very happy to be back on camera. Even though I say that I don't like to be on camera, I do miss it. But let's get into it. I hope you guys are doing well. I have no idea where you guys are at times. I think last ones that we had, that I remember being on, it was like towards the beginning of the year. It's been a while that I haven't been on, but I'm happy to be here. Hope you guys are doing well. If you guys aren't, you guys can always, comment down below any petition that you may have. We are more than happy to pray for you, and just continue having me as well as Julie in your prayers, and the whole team that's with us. Please have us in your prayers. So just thank you for all the support. Thank you for everything that you've, the support and the love that you give to each and every one of us. I personally really much appreciate it, and we hope that you're with us in like the next videos to come. So let's get to it. Let's go straight into it because, well, why not, right? So we're going to be talking about a very special saint. We haven't actually talked about a specific saint, if I'm not mistaken, in a good while. So we're going to be talking about a saint today. So we're going to be talking about Blessed Anne Mary T. I'm sorry, I don't want to butcher names. It was a really hard name to pronounce. Anne Mary, that's all you gotta know. Blessed, and she is from Italy, in a small very town from Italy. She's from there. You want to check her out specifically, go ahead if you want to know her last name. But there you go. I'm gonna get into it a little bit today. Obviously, like we know and everything, I tend to jump around often to different things. And but at the end of it, you'll get a gist of it. You'll get the understanding of why I'm doing such thing. Just telling you, this one will probably be in English, even though we have been trying to incorporate more Spanish. This one is probably going to end up being in English because that's the way it comes out easier for me. But if you have any other suggestions later on, if you want something different, please let us know. Comment and tell us, like, hey, I want to see this. Hey, why don't you do this? Let us know, and we are more than welcome to do it, more than happy to do it. Like I did say in one of the very first ones of this year, we are hoping to have very new activities, new things going on in the show. And if the more that you let us know, the more we can do for you as well. Amen? Amen. All right, so before we get into the saint, then what we're going to do, what ingredients we're going to need, all of that. What we are going to create, or at least try very hard to create. If there's anyone from Italy or from Europe, please don't criticize me. I'm learning. I've never done this before. I mean, I did it in prior at home. I tried to do this. It worked out, but we are all human and we fail. But I hope maybe you learned a little bit, and if you have any tips, suggestions, let me know when we can fix them around. Amen? Amen. Okay, so we're gonna make pasta, very simple pasta, very simple ingredients. Most likely you should have these in your pantry. If not, quickly they should have them in your local grocery store. It is not something out of this world that we need. So very simple. We are going to use, if you haven't seen my board right here, we are going to use flour. Specifically, I'm using all-purpose flour, but there is also the double O flour, or 00, one of those two, or like, I forgot what the other one was called. Point is, they're all, we can make with all types of flour, but it just depends on the consistency that you wish. I think 00 is very fine, like even more fine than the all-purpose flour, which will give you more of a, I guess, spot on type of pasta that you may see at a restaurant, which is the more common one that they use, but it is more difficult to find that type of flour. All-purpose flour is something that we have basically everyone in our pantries. If we haven't, we should suggest trying to invest in getting a small packet of flour. What do we find? All right, so if you have all these ingredients, we can get started with this. For the egg mixture, I used about 1 full egg and then 3 egg yolks. So I mean, very simple things. Eggs is like a must. If you don't have that in your pantry, then it's probably because it's grocery day and you don't have them because you finished them. But it is something that we should all have in our pantries either way. Or in the fridge, better say, not the pantry, because then it can go rotten. You already know. Okay, so very simple concept. What we are gonna do is we're gonna pour a little bit at a time. So I forgot to mention, you should make a little well with the flour. I used 1 cup of flour with maybe like a 1/4 extra. So like a cup and a 1/4, one quarter. Of the flour. You make a little well, like a little volcano mix, and then you pour the mixture in there. And you just want to incorporate a little bit inside and then mix it inside so that it can be able to incorporate into the eggs little by little. You don't want to pour everything inside. You want to do it slowly, a little bit by a little bit, incorporating inside of the egg. And this process is going to take a little while. If I'm not mistaken, it might have taken me, when I tried doing it the first time, about maybe 1 hour, roughly an hour, half an hour to an hour. Depends on how much was it, depends on how much you are making. This is, I guess, roughly my estimate for maybe 1 or 2 people. Depends on what type of pasta you're making, but it depends on that. And don't be scared to really get into it, and as well get into it with your hands, because this is something that, I mean, honestly, I think this would be really cool for the kids as well, like to have a little interaction with them. Or maybe you can use this for, like, let's say you want to have a little like friends over, and can be a little activity that you guys create your own pasta, have your own dishes. Very good time to, like, you know, be with the family and be with your friends. And then slowly you're just trying to incorporate all the egg inside. If it were to slip out of your volcano creation, like some of it towards like mine that is kind of getting out of it, what you can do is just simply get yourself, add a little more flour in there. You don't want to over it with flour, but slowly incorporate it. And when you see that majority of the egg is already incorporated, it's not so runny, then that's when you can go in with your hands. So this is a messy, kind of messy, but I think for pasta, it's okay. For pasta, anything we can do. So you just slowly incorporate it more inside. It's gonna take a while, and you just make sure that is all incorporated into a very firm consistency. You don't want it to stick into your hands. It shouldn't really stick to your hands as much. It should be able to fold in correctly and just be able to incorporate all the flour that's inside correctly. You can use clean off your spoon, your fork, and then you just slowly incorporate it. Bring the flour in, bring it in, get some from the outside, bring some more flour in, incorporate it. You just really have to get into it with all your strength. So this is a very fun, I know maybe as kids we wanted to play around, so you can think of it as like when you were little kids and you were playing with Play-Doh. It's kind of the same. So you just want to incorporate all the flour, and this kneading process takes a good while, just letting you know. So don't do this when you have like maybe 5 minutes that you're on your break, a 30-minute break. You won't have time to do this on your 30-minute break unless you have the dough made from before. So you just want to incorporate it all of it. If you see that it's sticking, you can add more flour. You just have to really get into it. And if you see, What you should be doing is trying to get the outside of it and bringing it in. So the more that you knead it, the more that you incorporate it together, this is what this is causing. It's causing for the, what is it called? What is that one thing that people don't like that is bad for them?
Soda.
Gluten. Gluten. You are activating the gluten that's soda. You are activating the gluten that's in the flour. So you just make sure that you have it off. And as soon as you have it off, then you just kneading it and kneading it. The kneading process takes about maybe 7 to 10 minutes. And there's different processes you can do, but you just have to put yourself all in there. If you feel that you have still extra flour and you're not using it, you can just move it to the side because you already have enough flour that you're using. And yeah, like I said, this is a process where you're gonna get dirty, whether you chose it or not. And there you go. You're just incorporating it as much as you can. The way you're gonna know that your dough is good, your pasta dough is good to go, is that when you flip it over and you press it, it should spring back. So I don't know if you're able to see it on camera that much, but you can see that this one springs back a little bit, but not as much as we want to. So you just have to continue kneading it until we're able to get that spring back up from the pasta. But it seems like we're basically done on this one. I'm gonna continue kneading it off camera. And then as soon as you get that spring back, the spring back from your dough, you wanna wrap it up in some, I'll see, needs a little bit more, but basically done. You can see the spring going back up. As soon as you're doing that, then you just put it in the fridge for about 30 minutes and then you are off to shaping. Okay, so where we left off at the end, I'm not exactly sure where we left off, right? But the point is your dough should have been in the fridge for about 30 minutes roughly. It's just so that everything can finish incorporating together and then you get to it. So this is where your arm muscle comes in. And as you know, I don't have a lot of arm muscle, but we're gonna do it either way. We have no other choice, right? We can't do a video and finish halfway. So I took the liberty of getting started because it takes a while. And I don't wanna have you guys here for about like 30, an hour, you know, seeing me work my magic here. Oh, just kidding. So I did take the liberty. You basically get your dough. So it should have been like a little ball. And then once you have it into the little ball, that's when you cut it into fourths. So I cut it into fourths. You use 1/4 at a time, and you want to cover it up just so that it won't dry out. So it won't dry out. So I did take the liberty in doing it. So basically you just roll it out until you're able to make some strips. So we have our strips. We did it as much as we can to make it as thin as possible. If you have the actual machine though, that would make it like so much easier. But I don't have the $30 that it requires. So we did it by hand. So I think that's what makes it even extra special into doing this. So I'm gonna just quickly show you how I rolled it out. So we're just gonna put this pasta to the side. You can put some flour between them just so that they don't get stuck. Like some of these are getting stuck right now. Just put a little bit of flour, that's fine. Around it so that when it's time to boil, they won't be super stuck to each other. Sounds good? All right. So you get your other fourth. Just want to put it down. You want to make it maybe into like a little square, a rectangle better say, so that the kneading it can be a little easier. Just put it into somewhat of a rectangle. I put some flour. I like to put some flour on my rolling pin just so that it doesn't get stuck on there. And then you just put your mussel to it. All right, so you get your mussels and you just want to roll it out. If you see that it's sticking a little bit to the rolling pin, you can just add more flour to it so it can be able to not stick so much on the rolling pin. So you just want to roll it out as much as possible, or better say as thin as possible, so that you can be able to see the board under, or if you put your fingers, you should be able to see maybe the reflection of them as much as you can, because like I said, if you really, really want to get like super professional on it, you would kind of need the machine that you like put it in, rolls it out for you thinner. If you don't have it, obviously rolling pin works as well. But the thing is because as soon as you put it in water, it does expand a little more because it's absorbing the water. So if you have it too thick, then it's gonna be way too thick. And then we just want it to look, I guess, semi like if you had bought it from the store, you know? So you just have to thin it out as much as possible. So while I'm here trying to roll it as thin as possible, I'm gonna talk a little bit about Blessed Anne Mary, something with a T, because I don't want to butcher names today. So this is a girl from Italy. And what she was a very simple person, very humble, she worked. Her parents actually were a little not the nicest people ever. And what I mean by not the nicest people is that Anne would go work like she was supposed to go work, and every single penny she would give to her parents, and her parents didn't even want to work at all. Like once Anne was able to work, the parents didn't want to do anything anymore. So they relied only on the money from their daughter, which many other people actually started picking up on when she was growing up, because they would say, well, you're very pretty, because Anne was very pretty, and she should have been able to, spend a little bit to herself, right? Because she's the one that's earning that money. So she should be able to. But she felt that it was her need, that's what she was meant to do. Give the money to her parents. So she didn't really see anything wrong with it. The people around her thought otherwise. So as this thing was going on, she felt that that's what it was. And that's just the way she was going on with her life. It wasn't until she met, which I forgot the name of her husband was. She met this man, very, very, very handsome man actually, also. And this man, they ended up falling in love for each other, and I think there was many things that were going on during that time, but they said that their love for one another was going to overpower that, and that any obstacle that they would go through, they would do it together, which I think is really awesome, because many times I think in our society right now, we don't really see that in marriages. On the contrary, we see marriages splitting up for X, Y reasons. But since the beginning, they were like, we can overcome this, and we're going to be able to be together happily and all that. So that's just the start of a good thing. But as they started getting to know each other, when they finally did get married, she noticed, or other people noticed, or they just noticed in general, that they were very different. She was very humble, very, very patient, very, calm person, and he was kind of like the opposite of that. And what would happen is that, there was actually a time where Anne made a meal for him and he didn't like it, and he just pushed it away and he left. And you know what, she didn't say anything about it. She just picked up the stuff and, you know, maybe did something else. I'm not sure how they said if she made something else or if nothing else happened. So she was very patient. You never really saw her being abrupt and like mad or anything, I guess, crazy in that sense, which is very different. So you know how many times they say opposites attract, or that maybe I've heard that it's good to be opposites, but at the same time that it's not so good. But this couple was very, very opposite. And even then, you know, they were still able to, but they lived in a small home. And because the parents didn't want to do anything with their lives, like I said at the beginning, that they didn't, so they decided to live there. And even when she was already married, they still demanded things of her. And she had all these beautiful kids as well. I don't remember exactly how many kids she had, but she did have kids. So it was like, let's say, it was like about maybe like a two bedroom house, and they had over 10 people living there. But even then, like that was how it was. She was very, very humble, patient, very loving mother, and that no matter what it was, no matter who it was or what was going on, her main thing was her family. Her family was like everything. It was above everything. And well, her faith to God had always been there as well. But so I'm not exactly sure how it came to be. She had a revelation, or God spoke to her and told her, I'm going to give you this gift. And she had the gift of, if I'm not mistaken, it was like foreshadowing, or like she got revelations. So she was able to tell you like messages that God had given to her from that specific person, if that makes sense. So there would be many cardinals, many important people would come to her and ask them like, oh, what do you see in my life? How am I gonna live my life? Is anything gonna happen to me, or things like that? And she would tell them, but which was kind of weird. I don't know, I find it kind of weird, right? But there would be times where she's talking to these cardinals, talking to all these very important people, and instead, and like they're focused, right? So like picture me and you talking. I'm Anne and you are a cardinal, or you are a very important person. So we're having a conversation, right? And I see my husband come in, her husband. She would let them know like, hey, you have to, like, can you please leave or something? My husband here, I have to tend to my family. So that's how much dedicated she was to her family. Was that it really didn't matter who you were. My family is more important. And I mean, people can see both sides of it. Is it a good thing or a bad thing? You know, are you putting, there's a cardinal right here in front of you, like a God-sent person, and you're gonna choose them over your family? Or maybe other people can see it like, wow, like it didn't matter who they were. My family is the most important thing because they're the ones given to me. And my family is the ones who are gonna help me throughout everything. So, I mean, it depends on how you wanna see it. Personally, I see it as like, wow, like it really didn't matter who you were. Family is above all. And I think that's one of the most important, yes, of course, like the gift that she was given to be able to tell all these stories and all these revelations. And you can actually look up some of the revelations that she gave, which are pretty interesting, right? If you want to know more about them, we can have another video on just the revelations if you guys wish to have. But I think for me personally, one of the things we can definitely learn from this is that family is above all, and family won't ever leave you. Actually, a little side note, I actually posted on my personal IG. I posted a little bit of my trip to Mexico with my family and all that, and my brother actually comments, I think he put something with like family is the most important, or like family above all. And it really got me thinking, because many times, me personally, I tend to like argue with my family and you know, try to find something to argue about, and even them as well. And maybe you guys are the same as well, right? Maybe there's a lot of clash in your families. There's a lot of just a lot of disruption, a lot of darkness in your families that is going on. And we can learn from this, that her being her, if she can simply be mad, if my husband or your husband or someone that you care for is doing all these faces for your food, you're gonna want to be mean as well. But on the contrary, she decided to calm herself and, you know, be humble and patient, like, okay, well, he didn't like it. But how many times do we react that way? Not many. Me personally, I hardly react that way. So it's very us to really understand. For us to understand, for us to understand that we have to be patient with those that are around us. And that family is above all. Family won't ever leave you. Family will always be there with you. And that is something that we must learn, that we need to not focus so much on the exterior, but focus on ourselves, being humble, being patient. She never let the gift that God gave her, like, make her think that she was so much and think of her all like super high up. Like, she was still humble about it. And that is something that we should all continue to strive about. So going back to the pasta, just, I kind of left it all here. So just make sure that it's really thin enough to cut. And then simply you just want to make it into like little like strings. If you want to make little bowls, you can do little bowls. But that's all your own preference on how you wish to do it. Simply the way I do it, just fold one part, and then you fold the other part right on top, and then you just want to be able to cut the slices through. So I'm gonna use my board, my chop thingy here. You can make them as thin, as thick as you wish. You can make little bowls. We're gonna do simple lines because that's the easiest way to do it. Easiest way to do something. And then, then you just spread them out and be able to put them with some hot boiling water and cook them. Add your sauce. You can make a sauce. You can add, it's literally, this is like the, what is it? What do you call it? Like, just an empty canvas for your minds to go crazy. You can make your own sauce. You can buy a sauce. You can, I don't know, make some raviolis. What is it? Put something inside. I'm gonna probably keep it very simple and just have like a garlic and butter type of sauce with like maybe some chicken, and then call it a day. So, we'll see you in a bit. So when you drop them into your boiling water, you're gonna see it doesn't really take that long, honestly. And you'll just see them expand a bit, and then make sure that you're dropping them a few at a time. You don't wanna drop them all together, because once they hit the water, they're gonna want to like get together and all that. So you're just gonna do that. It should be just like a quick 2-3 minute, honestly. And then you're gonna wanna try it. You should see that as when they start getting ready, they go up. They won't sink down, so that's pretty cool. And then you'll know because they change a little color, and they'll change away from, because it was a darker yellow, now it's much lighter. And then you just try it. If it should taste like it's cooked, whatever that tastes like, and that's when you know they're ready. Alrighty, so don't mind the mess that is going on here. I know normally we kind of clean up a bit at the end and then show you the end piece, but you know what? We did a lot of work in this one. It's fine. We're going to leave it like this. So what you didn't see, well, I'm not sure what you saw off camera, what I did off camera or not, but simply we put the pasta in boiling water, wait until it boils, put some salt in there, and then when you're putting them in, don't put it all together, because as soon as it hits the water, it will clump up, and we don't want that. We don't want clumps of pasta. So I did a few strands at a time, and it quickly boils up. So you just basically cook it for maybe 2 to 3 minutes. You try it. If you feel it's cooked, I don't know how to describe to you if it's cooked or not, but I don't know. I feel like when you taste it, you'll know. So I'm not sure how to describe that part. So sorry about that. And then after that, I put the thing aside. I say maybe like a half of a cup of pasta water. And then in another pot, I created my sauce, which is like just an invention of mine, just letting you know. I just put some pasta water, the half a cup. I put pasta water. I put maybe about half a cup. I think it was like half a cup of heavy whipped cream, and maybe about a cup or maybe 2 cups of mozzarella cheese, and then some garlic salt to taste. So I put some there, mixed it all until the mozzarella cheese was liquefied, if that makes sense, melted. And then as soon as that is, I put in my chicken that I already had on the before all this. I had already cut up. I put salt and pepper to taste, and basically kind of like fried it. And then I put the pasta, the chicken all together, mixed it up, and we got with the ending piece right here. And then you just add what you want. If you want to add maybe some, what is it called? Some red pepper flakes. You want to add some parsley, some Parmesan, which is probably what I'm going to add to it right now on it. And that's all to your liking, how much you like it, how much you want. My brother actually really likes it. And one time we were in, little side note, sorry. One time we were in a restaurant and he just kept telling like the waiter, like, keep going, I want more cheese. So it's up to your liking, how much you want. So once you have that done, once it's done, you can pair it with some wine. For those of you guys who are 21 and over, some wine. So that's what I'm having here because it's been a very stressful day with this pasta. But you've earned it if you decided to do this. It's okay. All this mess is worth it. After you are done, you can clean up and we're good to go, right? So before I finish and I dig into this beautiful mess that is right in front of me, just remember, family, what I took from this, from Blessed and Mary, is that family is above all, and family will always be there with you, and as well as be patient and be humble. And I think that's just a big thing, because we are in a place right now where many people don't have any patience. But if you can be that difference, those people can look around you. And if you are blessed, if God blesses you with a gift of maybe seeing all these, doing these things, or maybe other gifts that he can bless you with, don't let it come to your head, if that makes sense. Don't let it make it define who you are, but do it in the name of God and help those that you are able to all around you. So remember, family is important. If there's someone in your family that you have just not been okay with, I encourage you to maybe call them up, go visit them, and rekindle that bond, because family is above all. And as well as, let's continue and ask God for patience and ask him for us to be humble. So, once again, thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here with us. Like, comment, subscribe if you really enjoyed it. Comment if you have any suggestions, anything you want to know, anything else in this whole world that you wish to know that we can help you with, please. That would be awesome. And, stay tuned for the next one. And I love you very much. Keep praying for me as I pray for you. And I will see you in the next one. Bye. That wasn't that bad.